Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Sisters of the Strange. My name is Landry.
And I'm Shay.
And in this episode, we are going to explore Trans-Allegheny Lunatic Asylum. It has a dark history, including outdated medical practices, severe overcrowding, and the lives of patients who were committed for reasons that would shock us today. We'll also dive into the asylum's paranormal reputation, from shadow figures and disembodied voices to full-bodied apparitions that are said to roam the massive stone corridors. You know, I texted you when I left my house earlier. I was getting my heating blanket and I pulled the cord, it was already out of the wall. So I didn't yank it out of the plug or anything, you know, but I yanked it because it was kind of lodged in my couch and it popped me right here. I have just a little bitty baby knot. Just the actual plug itself said pop, pop. And I was like, ow.
It said, don't be so aggressive.
Yeah, I was like, damn. And then I just went on with my time, but I did get a little knot. I'm not so sure I've ever really had a knot on my head. It's itty bitty.
I've had minty.
Definitely there. Yeah, you got one when we played Crack the Egg that one time. Mm-hmm. A massive one.
Yeah. I still have a dent in my head from that.
That's good.
Straight knee to the forehead.
Oh, gosh. You know, I never wanted to be the egg. I wouldn't be the egg.
It's dangerous. Dangerous game.
I don't want to play this game. I didn't want to play it anyways.
Scary.
I was good for Mummy.
That's what we were playing, though, I think. I think we were actually playing Mummy because...
I just know Bubba jumped over your head.
Because his eyes were closed.
Oh.
And he went to jump over me. And I was trying to evade.
I was
just donk right in the forehead.
I was hung upside down. I'd get to the edge of the rails and I'd hang upside down. So all you could potentially touch was maybe my hands because I would just hang. I always did weird stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I was evasive.
Very evasive.
Yeah. People would literally have to open their eyes to find me. And because I would be and I'd be walking around the edge.
Yes.
You will not catch me.
Won't get me.
Don't get me.
Ain't gonna catch me.
I also sent Shay this article and she said that she saw it in her Facebook page. There's a guy who's been grave robbing.
Mm-hmm.
So 200 bodies or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
They're still trying to figure out right now why he was doing that. He was selling some of them, but then he was actually legitimately posing on his social medias, with the skulls and stuff.
Yeah. He was in the weird morbid Facebook group that I'm in that somebody actually commented on one of our videos, I think, or maybe sent us
I think they commented.
And they were like, oh my God, I'm in the same Facebook group. And I was like, yep, that's the one.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah. Cause they had posted the moderator of the group had they were like, oh, another one of our members is been caught.
That's so strange.
Yeah. It's kind of scary. I'm like, what kind of people are in this group?
Yeah. Maybe I should get out of this.
Yeah. But it's so good. It's so interesting. There's some crazy stuff in there.
Oh,
crazy.
I'm not in it.
The NSFW.
I've got to get on it. The page that I'm in the most that I absolutely hate, and I don't know why I'm in it, is North Texas. What snake is this? And I can identify pretty much every snake now, but I'm like,
I love that group.
No, I hate it. Because then I'll be scrolling and I'll see a picture of a snake and then I go to bed and then I'm dreaming about snakes because I'm terrified of snakes.
I'm not scared of snakes anymore solely because of that group.
If it's slithering, it's not for me. I don't care if it's, one time I saw a garden snake this big. And it was doing a little bit of that. And I said,
I used to be so scared of them. And then I joined that group and I realized that there's so many more snakes here that are not harmful to us.
Yeah, non-venomous.
And
they're actually beneficial.
Yeah, they're beneficial. So we leave a lot of snakes around here because we don't ever see any bad snakes out here. But now, if I see one, I know what it is and I will go pick it up and hold it.
No. I'm good.
They're so cute.
I'm good with I don't even know if I really want to see it. I want to see it because I'd rather see it than not see it. But the way they move really freaks me out, you know?
It is a little weird sometimes.
Yeah.
Give me a little bit of the heebly-jeeblies, but...
And even if it's non-venomous, it can still bite the shit out of you.
Yeah, but...
No.
It's not going to hurt you. It might hurt for a second.
It hurt. Girl, says the girl who doesn't have her ears pierced.
Oh.
Says you.
You got me.
Oh my gosh. Absolutely not.
Oopsies.
And based off of all of this, we would end up in the asylum that we're going to be talking about today.
Correct.
Sure.
Correct.
as I was watching, like I watched a bunch of documentaries and I watched a bunch of ghost shows that go over Trans-Allegheny. And I was like, one of the reasons someone was admitted was a novelty reading or novel reading.
Oh, gotta go.
There I go.
Wow.
Right away.
Immediately.
So right off the rip, let me just mention this place sits on 666 acres of land.
Damn.
And it has 13 buildings. They're like asking for trouble.
Yeah.
With these numbers.
Holy cow.
Yeah. I think it said that the main building itself is over 244,000 square feet, which is like 9 acres of building square footage, which is insane.
Holy shit.
Yeah, it's massive. As we all know, in the 18 and 1900s, there was not really a clear understanding of mental disorders or emotions. Even now, I wouldn't say that there's a huge grasp on all of these things, truly, but back then, no one really knew what to do with it. And so there was a huge influx of like sanitariums and asylums, or they would even just be taken to like prisons.
Yeah, because they would for anything.
Yeah, they just didn't know how to handle it. So they'd be like, oh, you have an issue. So you just, and it's like literally not even an issue.
Yeah.
They just didn't know how to handle a woman crying.
Mm-hmm.
So they're like,
And now it's like nearly impossible to like get somebody admitted for
actual
true issues.
True help.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's kind of how Trans-Allegheny began. It was a psychiatric hospital located in Weston, West Virginia, and it was originally known as the West Virginia Hospital for the Insane, and it was known as Weston State Hospital. So construction began in 1858, and it was originally carried out by prison laborers. But just 3 years later, the outbreak of the American Civil War brought everything to a halt. So it's said that the grounds and the buildings that were kind of there kept going back and forth and would be used by both Union and Confederate soldiers. And it was like some sort of location to where it was a lot of like where people would meet for supplies and stuff like that. And so it switched hands a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And so there wasn't a whole lot of construction in that period. And also after the Civil War is whenever West Virginia and is it just Virginia? It became its own state. West Virginia became its own state. And so then the asylum was actually, I think, just like Virginia State Asylum or something like that. And so then once it became a state, it was in that side of the state. So then it became West Virginia State Hospital or whatever. So it was not necessarily in West Virginia when it was built because West Virginia didn't exist.
Yeah, I hear you.
I could have done better research on that part.
Yeah,
I just watched a lot of it, went for it, you know?
Uh-huh.
So the first patients were admitted in October of 1864. Even though construction was not fully completed until 1881.
Hello?
Isn't that odd?
Yeah.
Especially for like a place that's supposed to be like comforting and peaceful, and then they're still doing construction over here. So that's fun. The iconic 200-foot clock tower wasn't finished until 1871. And in 1873, there were actually separate rooms added for segregation. So it's kind of moved through all of its phases.
Mm-hmm.
From the beginning, the hospital was designed to be self-sufficient. It had its own farm and dairy. It had its own like water system, and it had a cemetery. So
that's kind of cool. It's like its own little city, its own little town.
Yeah, I think
its own little village.
I almost think that would help with like if you need healing, like to not have to be around big bustling like movement and all sorts of stuff like that, which is nice. So patients often worked the land as part of their treatment because early treatments focused on routine and labor, which was like farm work, laundry, cleaning, and it was believed to restore order to the mind, just like simple menial tasks. But what it was actually really like was unpaid labor, exhaustion, punishment for refusal, and normally had dangerous conditions.
Mm-hmm.
But the hospital was originally designed using the Kirkbride plan, which was an architectural and medical philosophy developed by a psychiatrist named Thomas Story Kirkbride. So it's actually just the layout of the building, essentially, is what the Kirkbride plan is.
Mm-hmm. And
so it looks like a series of, like, it basically is one long building, but then they step back and step back and step back. It almost looks like a bat, like bat wings.
Oh, okay. Uh-huh.
So it's like the bat body, basically, and then...
Okay.
But it's just a long building. But basically, back then, they thought that sunlight was like the cure to everything. And so that was the best way to get sunlight into like every single room, was to have it linear like that.
Yeah.
And that was supposed to help the patients. Okay. So when they placed people in this environment, when it was the Kirkbride, like following the Kirkbride plan, which was actually supposed to only accommodate like 250 people. And I think at the height, it had 2,600. It had over 10 times the amount of what it was supposed to actually have.
Boy.
Yeah. And so whenever it was actually being utilized, I think correctly in the earlier years, the more down central you were in the building, like in the middle of the building, the more freedom you had. Like you were able to leave the property. It was like lesser mental conditions, basically.
Mm-hmm.
The further out and up you got, the worse of the patient you were.
That seems backwards.
Yeah, because the nurses, I mean, there was nurses stations throughout, but there was like on the second floor is where a lot of the nurses like
congregated
accommodation type stuff was, you know? And so, yeah, but it's almost like they made it to where if you walked in, you saw all the peaceful stuff.
Okay.
In my opinion, it seems like you saw the peaceful stuff when you walked in, but the further you got out is when it was like, oh, things are getting worse.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense.
It
doesn't, but
yeah, that's my opinion on why it was probably like that. So how I mentioned, it was supposed to be designed for 250 patients, which were ideally housed in solitude, but the number went from, in 1880, 717 patients, to 1938, there was 1,600 patients, and then 1950, there was over 1,800 patients, and then by the 1950s is when it reached up to 2,600.
Jesus.
So now the hallways were utilized by patients lined with beds, basically how your hospitals look during COVID.
Yeah.
Just beds in the hospital hallways. And then rooms that were meant to be for one person, like healing, luxurious. Like it was supposed to be like a more of a luxurious, truly a comfortable place to live out with your disability or your illness. Like it was supposed to be somewhere that was home and felt good. But now your one person room had as many beds they could fit in it, which could be anywhere from like 5 more beds, maybe 8 more beds. So there could be one person in there. There could be 8.
Yeah. Yeah, that's terrible.
And mixing of disabilities. So like one woman could be in there for novel reading and the person next to her could be in there for truly having something wrong and like truly needing help. And now they're sitting beside each other and having to share space. So apparently the first 9 patients were all female. And they were all committed for domestic reasons.
Like?
I had seen it. It doesn't list it online, but in one of the paranormal videos, it shows Call Me Chris and Selena Spooky Boo went and they did a video and they showed the room where it had I remember they were like 27 years old, 29, 32. Dementia was listed a lot.
Okay.
But like dementia then might have been different than dementia now. Like dementia then might have meant lunacy. I think, I don't know, you know? But I can't think of the particulars, but I know it was like, really? That's what you got admitted for?
Oh, wonderful. So this one says a 22-year-old female, age of her first attack was 21 years old. Social condition, single. And then form of insanity and acute mania supposedly caused by dysmenorrhea, which is that? A period. A painful period.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
You're
like
in.
Dysfunctional.
You're in.
I'm in. That's literally it. Like that's literally my diagnosis.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I don't know if there's more pictures. I don't know if there's any more that line
and
up.
And then it has like negative that said, like it says NA under suicidal, homicidal, hereditary. Like that's just insane.
Yeah. So there was 9 of those signs. And it says like why these women were there, but that's the only one I think I just found a picture of. But amongst the reasons of that, it was epileptics, alcoholics, drug addicts. There was someone who got kicked in the head by a horse. There was ill treatment to husband or by husband.
Okay.
Hysteria, laziness.
I'm in.
Yep. Laziness is one of them. There's all sorts of stuff. Novel reading. Because I know there's another one. I think asthma was one of them. Straight up asthma.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. There was ones that had to do with like postpartum. But also just like not even necessarily postpartum, just like the emotions, I guess, hormones that come with being pregnant. And then afterwards, straight up.
Yeah, these husbands are like, we don't want to deal with this.
So
see ya.
Yeah, that's it. So you have to imagine you having a really bad period cramp and crying about it. And your husband's like, ugh.
She's psychotic.
Yeah. But she didn't even have a husband. I think
it said she was single.
I don't know who took her, but she was there. Imagine her sharing a room with someone who truly has an issue, like truly. And I'm not saying issue in a rude way. I'm saying, what is the right way to say that? I don't want to make anyone upset. I'm not trying to say anything wrong, I guess, but
like a true like medical condition, like somebody maybe who can't take care of themselves, somebody who's like severely disabled, who needs the help, not necessarily in a asylum, but like that's just how it was back then.
They need caretaking.
Yeah.
And they're sharing a room with someone who just had a bad period.
Yeah. And is she there forever now? Or like
pretty much anyone who went there, like you don't leave. Like they literally called it. So I watched Portals to Hell too with Jack Osborne and a girl named Katrina. And they literally said, like, this is almost like a portal to hell because every patient who went there pretty much knew they weren't leaving.
That's just
without
nuts.
Death, basically.
Wow.
Well, how do you get out? How do you get approved to get out?
Right.
Some of them were able to like go in and out in the first ones, but I think once it got to overcrowding conditions, that was no longer like a thing. Like I think you were all just there.
Yeah.
Now that it's overcrowded, this Kirkbride plan of just like niceness and everything, like I've mentioned, it's out the window. So this is where some of their forms of control and basically pretty much experiments, in my opinion, come into play. So they started with control through constraint, probably. There's different levels. I kind of organized them how I figured you would start this. And they used straitjackets. They used restraint chairs and beds. They used restraint cages. Like there is videos and there's old workers. There's people who will tell you that they would put people in cages. Like you would walk down the hallway and there would be someone in a cage.
I just am speechless at that.
I know you kennel your dogs. I don't even kennel my dogs. And it's not because I think it's like bad or anything. I was kenneling Biggie until she started dragging the kennel with her and I was like, oh, she's going to make it collapse on her and it scared me. But like, that's dogs and we don't even really want to do that.
Right. You don't want to have to do that.
No. How would you do that to a human being?
Yeah.
Especially someone with a mental disability who really doesn't understand and just wants to, normally do they just want love and attention and like to be treated normal and you just need to do that. That's how that works. And they put them in a cage. That blows my mind. They also use sedatives and early drugs like heavy tranquilizers, sedative cocktails. And doctors said that they hoped it would reduce agitation, control large populations, and it allowed for fewer staff because there was already an understaffing issue, clearly. But what that was really like was oversedation, dependency, cognitive decline, and emotional flattening. So patients were often just medicated into submission.
And that just causes worse psychosis.
Especially when they're like, I guess, coming out of that. They also used hydrotherapy. And one of these things I learned about I've never heard of before, and it sounds absolutely freaking horrifying. It's called wet pack treatment. So basically, you're either stripped naked or you're kept partially clothed. You're wrapped tightly in cold or damp sheets or towels. You are sometimes wrapped further in blankets that are like not wet to prevent movement. So then once these towels, one, they're cold, but once they dry, do you know how stuck you are? And they would leave you like that for 30 minutes, hours, days, just like whatever.
And they called that hydrotherapy?
Yeah, that was under hydrotherapy. That was wet pack treatment.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. There's no like single log that survives detailing these uses, but it is known that they were used there.
Wow.
A lot of the records there have been kind of like, moved.
For sure.
Moved.
They're like, oh yeah, none of this happened.
Yeah. They would use it on women who were labeled hysterical or patients who cried or resisted or refused orders. So can you imagine you're just crying because you miss home and now you're wrapped in
freezing cold sheets,
blankets and stuff like that. And then once they dry, you're like mummified. There's no movement at all.
I just could not imagine.
Yeah. So they said one of the reasons is because staff was stretched so thin that the wet packs acted as a low effort immobilization method. Isn't that horrible?
It's terrible.
Well, they thought that it could calm agitation, reduce mania, lower body temperature, sedate patients without drugs, and reset the nervous system.
Which is not
It would reset
wrong.
my nervous system because I would quite literally pass out and die.
Yeah.
I would have I am so claustrophobic. I'm claustrophobic to my choice. Like I could probably sleep in a coffin because I would feel super comfortable and like safe, but like to my choice. Like, can I open it and get out?
Yeah.
That's not a choice.
No.
I would have a panic attack. I would literally probably die of a panic attack by being wrapped up like that.
That's just so crazy. And let me just like mention, like, nowadays, when we do have to get to the point of like restraining somebody, if it is like behavioral, which would be in a situation like this, somebody like in an acute mania, like psychotic episode, whatever, some type of thing, that is a 1-to-1 patient.
Yeah.
That nurse does not leave the side of that patient because they have to do certain things and chart certain things every 15 minutes.
Oh, nope, not here.
So you just cannot do anything else because you have to make sure that the person is safe and they're not going to harm themselves.
Yeah.
Or you're not causing harm to them because you're restraining them because they're going to hurt themselves. Like it's a very sticky situation. So that has to be very closely monitored. And like in these situations, they're doing this and then they're just going away for who knows how long. Yeah, and and like not.
And this, I haven't looked up even. That might be something to look up. I never looked up how many nurses were actually there per patient. But how many nurses could you imagine truly working there with 2,600 patients? And you wrap up one of those people and you walk off? When do you think you actually remember to go back to them?
That's what I'm saying.
Unless you have like a true chart. And back then, I don't necessarily know.
They probably didn't.
With that many people, hallways, lines, nurses having to take care of.
There wasn't enough.
This. Like that person could have been there for days.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Whew.
Crazy.
They also used ice baths and cold baths, which I think we all know what that is.
Mm-hmm.
And then they used continuous baths, which they put patients in lukewarm water. They would remain submerged for hours or days. Their head was supported above the water, and sometimes they were restrained inside of the tub. Doctors claimed that it helped sedation without drugs, prevented agitation, and encouraged passivity. What it really was like was skin breakdown and infections, extreme boredom and mental distress, loss of dignity, and inability to escape or move freely. They think they're helping all these people's mental disorders or mental afflictions, and I think they make them worse.
Oh, 100% they're making it worse.
Like the stress of that would make me more
manic. Yeah.
I would be more manic until I hit a point of just numbness, which is probably what they did to these people.
Sending all these people into shock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is what they said about the cold baths. I didn't break it down because I think we all could pretty much guess what a cold bath would do. But it does. It says it like puts you into shock where you're just like, oh, okay, whatever. From there, they moved on to electroshock therapy.
My favorite.
Yeah. Basically, they thought that it treated depression and psychosis by resetting brain activity. All it really did was leave people with violent seizures, broken bones, memory loss, and confusion and fear.
What's crazy is I think places still use that. Like I think places still do that.
I think so too. I think there's a certain level, that they do. But I think now it's probably more controlled. It's probably back then. I bet they were like shock, 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 like over and over again, like no real practice to it. I would hope and assume that if it is used now, there's some sort of like how you have like if someone has to be restrained, there is a full procedure to that.
I still don't think it's humane.
No. I mean, unless someone's truly trying to hurt themselves, I get it because you were helping them. Like you were doing what you can to help them not hurt themselves.
Yeah.
It would be really hard to see, and it would be really hard to like, it is hard to say like, yeah, that's an okay thing to do. But if they truly need that help because they are trying to hurt themselves or someone else, I guess, I don't know. I hope I never have to see it or be a part of it because I would cry the whole time. After that, they went to insulin shock therapy, which was they injected large doses of insulin, which caused hypoglycemia, induced comas, and seizures. Doctors claim they believed that it helped to improve schizophrenia and restarted the brain.
I hate it here.
What it was really like was terrifying loss of consciousness, risk of brain damage, high death rate, and often repeated regularly. When I read that, I was like, wait, people do that? What?
I've never heard that one before, but as soon as you said it, I was like, absolutely not.
That's not going to help anybody with anything.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And then it finally got to the point where they just treated neglect as treatment. So malnutrition, poor hygiene, untreated illnesses, exposure to the cold, overcrowding, and it happened from underfunding, staff shortages, and dehumanization. So by this point, neglect itself had become the most common treatment, and patients went hungry, hygiene collapsed, heat failed. Illness was untreated, not because no one knew, but because no one cared or intervened.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say cared. No one intervened. I'm sure there was a lot of people who cared, but there's only so much you can do about so much. So, a series of investigative reports published by the Charleston Gazette in 1949 exposed conditions at Weston State Hospital that went far beyond the underfunded or outdated. They highlighted sanitation failures. There was bathrooms that were filthy and insufficient for patient population. The toilets and sinks were often broken or unusable. Patients were sometimes forced to wait long periods to use the restrooms. Human waste was not always promptly cleaned, and strong odors of urine and feces were reported throughout all of the patient wards.
Ew.
Well, if there's 2,600 of you in 10 bathrooms, I don't know how many bathrooms there are, but 10 bathrooms, yeah. Or if there's patients who truly need help and no one is helping them.
Yeah. Hello.
They're just wearing diapers and like covered in it, which is god awful. I cannot imagine walking down these hallways and
I can't either.
seeing this.
No.
But this created ideal conditions for disease.
Yay!
Especially tuberculosis and gastrointestinal illnesses. There was also a lack of furniture and basic living needs because how do you have enough beds for 2,600 people? So many patient wards lacked proper beds, mattresses, chairs. Some patients slept on floors, thin pads, and overcrowded beds shared with others. And you have to think at that point, you don't have your own closet, you don't have your own dresser, you don't have any of your own things. So do you have enough clothes to change and wear?
No.
Or are we all wearing the same clothes for days on end?
Somebody called the state. Somebody called JACO. Get them in there. Board of Nursing.
I think the Charleston Gazette, it reminds me a lot of the Asylum American Horror Story when she goes in there and then ends up being admitted. And yes. So I think that I don't know if they went in there like openly or if someone went in there like kind of undercover or how they went about it. But they put out an article and it took years, like 10 years or more before something was ever even like remotely done about the conditions. And I still don't even think the conditions were ever really actually
improved. Surely not.
No. There was also inadequate lighting. So there was entire wings that were described as dim or poorly lit. Burned out bulbs were not promptly replaced. Some hallways relied on minimal natural light only. And poor lighting contributed to falls and injuries, increased fear and confusion, and difficulty supervising patients. Yeah. It also made it feel more like a prison, less than a medical facility. Because most like hospitals and stuff, they do have big windows in every room because sunlight helps. Really, it does.
Oh yeah. Sunlight cures all my issues.
Yeah. Genuinely. Like the other day I was having I was like kind of getting panicky. I started my first day of that job and I was like, oh my gosh.
Get me out of here.
Like just very jittery. Just there was a lot. I got the book thrown at me on the first day. And so I went outside and sat on my back porch and just sat in the sun. My dog Biggie was at the back door whining the whole time, which was taking away from the
peacefulness.
Healing.
Yeah.
But I literally just went and sat in the sun because I was like, oh, get out of this. Like go do something different. There was also heating failures, which also meant that there was AC failures. So during the winters, it could be freezing. And with that many patients, there was also inadequate amount of blankets. So you just had freezing patients. And it is also said that during like the summertime, there was not enough ventilation for AC either. So patients died from heat and like exhaustion.
Yikes.
So all of this adds up. Like, can you imagine all of these things combined? The
smell, first of all, is what I'm thinking of.
Yeah, like smell, the way that these poor people probably looked. Like,
yeah, it's horrifying.
And I'm not saying looked like as in a mean way. I'm saying like the way that they looked because they didn't have proper clean clothes. They were not being able to use the restroom. They were probably not able to shower regularly, like at all. And not only the way that they looked, but how do you think that they've all felt individually? Like one person got electrocuted, electroshock last night. One person had insulin therapy today. One person had this, and they're all walking around together in these just horrible conditions.
Terrible. Horrific.
So with that, there's actually no true count of how many people died. There are 3 cemeteries on the property that total up to 2,100 bodies. But those were the bodies that were unclaimed by family members. And like, I don't know when the earliest one was, you know?
Yeah.
So, but it's estimated that over 20,000 people probably died here.
Oh yeah, I believe that.
It was one of like, when I was watching the Project Fear episode, it was like one of the highest death rate places they'd ever been.
Wow. That's crazy.
They also, in those cemeteries, they do not have names on the headstones. It's numbers because you were a number. You were not a name, which is very sad.
That is very sad.
So also now in the early 1950s, the Weston State Hospital became a key site in the West Virginia lobotomy project.
Ooh.
So it was faced with overwhelming and overcrowding, as we have completely covered and talked about. So the state partnered with a man named Walter Freeman, and he promoted lobotomies as a solution to institutional population control, basically. It is said that he completed over at least 100 lobotomies here. And so basically they would take ice picks above your eyes, but in your eye sockets, and use a windshield wiper motion to kind of disconnect your frontal lobe.
Yeah.
Which is where your emotions, your personality, all the probably, I wouldn't say good things, but a lot of who you are, that's where it lives in your brain. And they would just kind of
wipe it away.
Yeah. They said it was a successful lobotomy if the person could still wash their hair, do the dishes, like still could do small menial tasks, but be like devoid of anything else. Yeah. That was successful to them.
Yikes.
Can you imagine? You're going in there for period pain, and now you're subject to a lobotomy.
Yeah. That's just...
And that's it. That's
the way the cookie crumbles.
That's how it was. Or you fought with your husband, or whatever.
You cried.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Or you're there living and you're crying because you miss home, or you're like, why am I here? This is terrifying.
And they're like, don't worry, we'll fix you right up.
Yep. We got you. Don't worry about it.
We got the cure.
Yep. It was said that over 4,000 lobotomies took place there.
Wow.
And sometimes those killed people.
I'm sure.
So.
That's crazy.
Isn't it?
Lobotomies are so insane.
Do they still occur?
I honestly don't know.
I hope not.
I have to look now.
I hope I've
never looked at that.
I haven't even thought about that either.
Google says traditional lobotomies are not performed today due to their devastating side effects, but highly refined modern forms of psychosurgery, like a cingulotomy, still exist for severe treatment-resistant conditions, though they are extremely rare, mostly replaced by the introduction of antipsychotic and antidepressant drugs.
Good Lord. What are we doing? Anyways, by the 1980s, the patient population had dropped due to changing mental health laws and treatments.
Wow.
However, conditions for those who remained were still grim. Patients deemed uncontrollable were still locked in cages. I'm having
just a little
word mush, but it's okay. In 1986, the governor announced plans to convert the hospital into a prison. The construction began, but was later ruled unconstitutional and halted. Instead, the state built a new facility, the William R. Sharp Jr. Hospital in Weston, and that is where most of the remaining patients went there. And then it shut down for a little while, and it shut down in May of 1994.
Wow.
Yeah, it took till 1994.
Wow.
Yeah, there's a story in here that's very grim, and it's that I'm going to tell you, and it's from the 1980s.
Oof.
After closure, the building did sit vacant, but it occasionally hosted fairs, church revivals, local events, tours. And in 1999, there was a significant amount of interior damage because a off-duty police officer team went and did a paintball game inside of there.
Wow.
They were all dismissed.
And they were all promptly fired.
Okay, so 2007, it was being auctioned off by the state, and someone came in who was a asbestos demolition contractor, and they bought it for $1.5 million. And then by 2008, it started opening it again as a tourist attraction. So now you can go in there and do all the ghost tours. And I think they have part of the like entrance. They have it set up like how it would have looked for the luxury people.
Yeah.
At some point in time, like they've redone part of it to make it look like this is what the luxury room would have looked like.
That's kind of cool.
But then like you open a door and you're like I was watching the ghost videos and stuff. So they're in this nice, pretty area. And then you literally, you're on the second floor or whatever. And then you just open a door and you walk into the patient area and it's just disgusting. Not disgusting anymore.
It's just run
like,
down.
Yeah. A lot of the stuff is like furniture is taken out. All that stuff is kind of taken out. But like the walls or like the paint is peeling and the ceiling tiles are missing. So it's just like the metal parts of like where the ceiling was. And it's like, oh, it's so nice. And then you just open into the patient area.
And that's probably exactly what it was like.
Yeah. Now, here's a few ghost stories we've got. So there's one room, and it's apparently haunted by this ghost of a little girl named Lily.
Mm-hmm.
It is said that her mom was sent to the asylum after being like, I think she was raped by Civil War soldiers and got admitted there because I think she got pregnant by them. I think her husband was like,
Out
maybe.
of wedlock.
Yeah, maybe. But I think it was more of a rape and she got sent there. And then Lily was born
Mm-hmm.
and they lived in this here together.
Oh my God.
And so Lily is still said to be there. And she has a room and people like take toys in there and stuff like that. But there's also said to be some sort of like black shadow figure that hangs out in there. So they're like, is Lily this black shadow figure, or is this black shadow figure controlling Lily? And I was watching, no, it wasn't Project Fear. I was watching Sam and Colby, and they're in there with a few other people, and they're just doing EVPs and asking questions and stuff like that. And they're replaying one of their EVP recorders, and they'd just been asking questions, and you can hear it go, like you can hear someone say Lily, but it was like a man's voice and it said Lily.
Mm-hmm.
And so then they replayed the EVP recorder to listen to that again. And it wasn't on the EVP recorder. They had heard it out loud.
Oh.
They had heard an actual disembodied voice.
Uh-huh.
So like their camera ended up catching it. But the EVP recorder didn't, but they thought it was the EVP recorder because it was when they were listening back.
Mm-hmm.
And then they listened back to it again and it wasn't on that.
Ooh.
And so they had actually heard the voice like in between all of them.
Oh, wow. Yuck.
Yeah. I don't know what I would actually do if I truly heard like someone else's voice in the room with me.
That wasn't there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess we kind of experienced it in like one of our very first episodes when I was like, what did I say? Yeah or hi?
I think it was yeah.
And then it like said yeah further down the line and it was like, but it was between us.
We were like, who was that? Hello?
And excuse me. So there's another room, and this one kind of blew me away, actually. There's another room, and they get the name, or it's like not even necessarily a room. It's a room, and like all down the hallway, they'll get the name Jane all the time. And Jane will also like tell people that she hurt herself or like give people clues of things like that. Like people get EVPs and things. And so the owner actually went back in and started doing research of what files she did have and what information she did have. And she did find the name of a woman who committed suicide in the 1890s. And her name was Jane Harvey.
Mm-hmm.
And so apparently she had sat in her bedroom at the end of her bed with her bed sheet and just like leaned forward, like sat down and hung herself sitting down basically off of her bed.
Just by
doing that. And Portals to Hell, which is Jack Osborne and Katrina, they went and they took a medium with them, but they had her blindfolded, like showing up blindfolded. She walked around the building blindfolded. And they just were in the hallway and they were like, okay, so we've heard a story of a girl who, and she apparently didn't know where she was, but I almost feel like if you like have to fly there, then you could almost guess where you were going, you know? So yeah. I take that with a grain of salt, but she did have a mask on the whole time. And they were telling her, they were like, okay, so we had someone who told us there was someone here who committed suicide and we're just trying to figure out maybe what room was hers and things like that. And the medium goes, I'm seeing like pale green, pale blue. And she's like, I kind of think it's this way. And so she has a mask on. So they walk her and they're like, maybe this room. And she was like, I actually think this feels really right. And they were like, are you seeing any more colors like of the walls or anything like that? And she was like, just a really ugly, pale green, pale blue. And that's exactly what the color of the walls in that room were. Mm-hmm. And it would be one thing to be like, well, that was the color of some of the rooms were like purple. Some of them were like tiled. Okay. Like they all had very different, like pale, some of them were pale yellow. She was like spot on with the color of the room. And then I don't remember if she said anything else about Jane. Like, I don't think she said anything else particularly being like, oh yeah, this is how she did this to herself. Yeah. But she was like, yeah, this room feels right. I feel like the sadness of it or whatever. And then had the color like spot on.
That's wild.
And I was like, oh, ew. And then it would like flash the camera and Jack would be like, what the hell?
He's like, oh shit.
Yeah. So then there is the Ward F, and that's where there was 7 seclusion rooms, and it's supposed to be for like the most violent male patients, because you have to think there was violent patients who had actual mental disorders, and then there was actually people who should have probably just been in jail and they were there.
Yeah.
Like criminally insane people were there.
Yeah.
Like there was 2 men who had committed murder and they were criminally insane and they were here.
Oh, wonderful. That's
instead
safe.
of in prison.
Yeah.
And they just so happened to share a room with someone who actually was mentally impaired. Mm-hmm. And we've learned at some point in time that it was a man named David and a man named James. And those were the two bad guys. And then there was Dean. And Dean was supposed to be, there's rumors that he was mute.
Mm-hmm.
He was said to sit at the feet of his nurses and just color pictures.
Mm-hmm.
Like he was like a grown man, but his brain stopped at probably like 6-7 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Like he like drew, like they even had like an image. And I don't necessarily know if it was one that he drew, but it was just a childlike portrait.
Mm-hmm.
And this is one that was in the 1980s.
Oh.
So Dean was said to sometimes have like fits, and that's why he ended up in this ward with them. But he was very nice. He was one of the sweetest patients. Like he was very easy for the most part.
Yeah.
And he got shared into this room with these evil men. And it was said that one day they put his bedsheet around his neck and there was a pole up on the ceiling and they threw it over and they would hang him until he would like pass out and then they'd let him back down.
Oh my God.
And then they'd hang him until he passed out and then they let him back down.
Aww.
And then eventually they put him on the ground and one of them held him on the ground while the other one put the bedpost on his temple and jumped up and down, penetrating his skull and then his brain.
Oh my God. That's horrifying.
Yeah. So he died by basically bedpost, but
Aww, poor Dean.
It's horribly sad. And there's a lot of people who have said that in that room, they'll still feel like his spirit, like a timid spirit that's not like mean to you or anything, just timid.
Yeah.
And sometimes you can see like a dark shadow standing at the doorway, like, but it was like, it's almost like the bad guys were standing watching him get like love and treatment because of how they treated him.
Yeah.
And so anyways, now in this Portals to Hell episode, they take the medium in there as well. And she's like on the money. She's like, I kind of feel like something on the ground, like maybe a guy who likes to be on the ground. And it was like, oh my gosh. Yeah. The nurses said that he liked to be at, like he would sit at their feet. And she's like, he's not really wanting to talk to me though. Maybe he's mute or doesn't talk. Right on the money again. And she's still like blindfolded through all of this. And then she like walked over just a step and she's like, I'm feeling like a hanging pressure sensation. And she's like, but like up, down, up, down. She like everything she said was right on the money. To where then whenever like that was like the last room they took her in. And when she took her like blindfold off, they told her all of that. And she was like cussing like, oh my, like, I can't believe that was so like on par or on whatever. She was so like right.
That's crazy.
It was watching it was like, I got the chills. I was like, oh my God, that's
like, what a presence.
Yeah.
You know?
And she said that because there's rumors that they say the dark figures are the men and that they come and go. And she was like, no, I think they've only come once. And they've only like, they came once and it bothered Dean. And like, he's still reliving that. And I don't think they're here still. She's like, I think they passed through, like passed on by. So she didn't think that the dark shadows were them still. And then there's the fourth floor and it's supposed to be the most nasty floor, like just like the floor that has the most activity. And there is some sort of creeper. They call it the creeper.
Ew, I hate that.
It almost looks like the rake in my opinion.
Yeah.
And like on Nick Groff gets it whenever he has a show with Katrina as well. I can't remember what it's called, but they have a show, which is the same girl who did this with Jack Osborne, but it's two separate shows. And you can like see it in one of their video footages. You can see it like behind them and the cameraman's like, just don't move, don't talk, don't do anything. And you can see it like slowly and it's like on the ground. You can see it slowly move into a room sideways. And it's like on the ground. Like it looks almost like.
I'm passing away. No.
It's really gross.
No.
It's very disturbing. Yeah.
I don't like that at all, but I want to see it.
Yeah. You can look up that video. Or I can try and put it on somewhere. The only other thing on the ghost shows that I watched that I was like, this is also notable is I watched Project Fear and I sent you part of what it was. So Project Fear is Alex, Tanner, Dakota, and Chelsea. And so they split up for the night or whatever. They split up for a little while before they all go sleep alone in separate areas. And so it was Alex and Chelsea were together and Tanner and Dakota were together and they were in separate places of the building. And Alex and Chelsea Alex's phone started to ring and it said Tanner's name. And he answered it and there was like nothing. And so he listened for a little bit and then the phone hung up. And then he walkied Dakota and Tanner and was like, hey, what'd you call me for? Like, what do you need? And they're like, we didn't call you. And Tanner's like, yeah, no, my phone's in the gear room. Like, I don't even have my phone right now. And Alex is like, that's crazy. because I just got a call from you. And then while they're like going through that, he gets another phone call from him and he just puts it on speaker and there's like this screeching, like it sounds like someone screeching into the phone. And it looks like it's like a 2-minute long phone call. And then it hangs up and they all like rush down to the gear room to look at Tanner's phone and it's completely dead. And on top of that, Tanner's like, my phone's password protected, like all the things. So I don't know how someone got in here and did that.
Ew.
Yeah.
Is there people who like sit in the gear room?
I don't think so. So they don't have like a whole crew, not that they've ever shown, but Ghost Adventures didn't show that they had a whole background crew for a long time either.
While, yeah.
But I really don't think so. I think Tanner and them, I think they do all the editing on their own. Now they have included Connor more, but Connor normally is, I think, who goes and he would do like basically the B-roll shots and stuff like that. But I think he normally goes back to a hotel. Like, no, I don't think he normally stays on site because there's been videos where they do ask him to stay on site to like join the investigation. And he's like, he ends up doing it. He's like a fun part of the show, but he's like, are you really?
Yeah.
So I don't think he normally stays on site. I think their gear room normally is just their gear room. They don't set up screens in there that connect to anything. Like they don't have anyone that would have to watch over the screens or anything. Like they review their footage when they go home.
Oh, okay. They just have it all in there.
Or if they have something really weird happen, then they'll like sit in front of their camera and go back over it.
Yeah.
But they don't have screens and have like a home base. They just keep all their boxes of all their gear and stuff in there.
Yikes.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah. It's very scary. But I mean, imagine the trauma of a building like that.
Oh, yeah. The energy in that place, I'm sure, is electric.
I feel so bad because I just keep thinking of the Asylum, the American Horror Story. That's all I keep thinking about. I never watched that
season.
It's a very good season, but it's all I keep thinking about.
That's the only one I never watched.
And they're not even like understaffed there or anything like that, but it is patients of all sorts of different like mental disorders, I guess. And a news reporter goes in undercover to try and then she ends up getting like stuck there.
Yeah.
And they end up having to like find their way out. I haven't watched it in so many years that my details might be wrong. But I just keep thinking if they have like a scene where they're all in like, because they'll all have like the central space where they'd all go color and hang out in the sunlight. And like some of them will be playing chess together and stuff like that. And
was that where they do like the dance and the song scene?
Yeah, it's like, Anna, Bofana. Yeah, that's where it's at.
Anna.
Yeah. But I don't know. I can't imagine walking down the hallways and seeing a human being in a cage.
Nope.
Or just rocking, like they're just like rocking back and forth over here. And then this one's just trying to read a book. It's that I understand everyone has their own, like you can have your mental disabilities and everyone has their own level of mental disability. Like, and a mental disability, anxiety is a mental disability. So it's that simple to where like, but it should have not ever reached the point of overpopulation to where they had to all be combined and understaffed to where it was not luxurious. It was hell.
Torture.
It was hell.
Yeah, absolutely. Imagine just like how, like you're saying, like how haunting it would be just to walk through it as it was like open and like practicing.
Yeah.
Much less now after all of that residual energy just sits there because nothing's ever happened to that building. It's just there as it was there. And it always has been.
And it's also said to be one of the largest hand-cut stone structures in the world. And there's the whole entire like stone tape theory, which is like residual energy, where stones basically act as like recorders to where it's all just living inside of it over and over and over again. And especially think of the people who were extremely confused when they passed away. Is there clarity once they pass away? Do they know? Do they get clarity or are they still living that cycle over and over and over again?
Yeah, probably.
I can't imagine just having like genuinely reading a book, I've already read 5 books this year and it's January 11th.
Yeah, you're definitely in for life.
And I have horrible asthma and I'm getting admitted because of that. Or my anxiety alone. God, Lord knows every single one of our listeners. One of Shay's co-workers was like, Landry has horrible anxiety, doesn't she?
And I'm like, yeah, she does.
Well, but I'm like, I think it's, for me, I'm like, okay, I can feel it. I can handle it.
Yeah.
Unless I learned the inhaler I was using was giving me anxiety attacks. Those I have a much harder time like actually getting through. But most of the time I can be like, it's normal. It's normal to feel sad. It's normal to feel anxious. Like, let's just
and everything's fine. Let's
keep
just get
rolling.
through it.
Let's keep rolling. But I mean, I also have outlets. Like, I talk to you all the time. So
yeah.
But I just can't imagine going in there for something like that. And then my thing is, I think I would end up taking care of patients because I'm still like mentally sound enough that I think I would be like, okay, well, I'm a nurse now.
Yeah, I'm just one of the caretakers.
Yeah, like I think I would end up starting to help people.
Mm-hmm.
But I can't imagine you go in there, you think you're going to have like your own room, your own space, and now there's 12 of you in one. There's no way they had changes of clothes when it's at 2,600 people.
Mm-mm.
And it's meant for 250.
Oh, no, definitely not.
Clothes,
that's
toilets,
just terrible conditions.
Clean sheets, none of it, none of that. There's no way there was any of that. And I don't know how you could have been a nurse there. Like, I don't know how you could have handled that.
No.
I would have been just crying the whole time.
Yeah.
It blows my mind.
Yeah, mine too.
But then now the haunted side of it, it's supposed to be one of the most haunted places in the world.
I believe it.
Which I could very easily see. Most of the asylums that I've watched videos on, like, and I watched a ton of ghost shows. Every single asylum, that's like one of the places that, like, on Project Fear, Chelsea, one of the places she hates to go to the most is hospitals and like asylums. It's like, those are the two things.
Yeah, because those are always the worst. They're always so haunted.
Yeah.
Ugh. Yeah.
I would like to go during the day.
Oh, I agree. During the day.
And it doesn't seem like anything so dark that it would be like, I think I would get really sad there.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I feel like I would probably walk around and walk into spaces and be like, oh, like, just like feel just like the sadness. But I don't think there's anything like dark enough to where I'd be nervous to go home and have something like
an
attached to me.
Yeah, I don't either.
Like, I'm absolutely way too terrified to ever go to Hill House in Mineral Wells. I'm like, something will attach to me and follow me home. I will never go there. I even think like Sally House, places like those, I'm like, dark, no.
Dark.
But something like that, I'm like, sad. I would like want to go and see it.
Yeah, for sure.
But I don't know if I'd be able to handle the emotions of it.
Only one way to find out.
Yeah, one of the tour guides even said, so like how we felt at the whatever house we went to in Savannah.
Sorrelweed.
Yes, how we felt in that first room. She said a lot of people feel that way on the second floor there. And like people will genuinely leave and go to the hospital and then come back and get their car the same day. So she's like, so nothing was actually wrong because you wouldn't be able to leave the hospital if something was actually wrong to come get your car the same day. She's like, but people feel so bad. They'll pass out in these hallways and like physically feel sick until they leave the property and then they're perfectly fine. That's
wild.
how we were there. As soon as we walked out of that room, we were pretty okay.
Yeah.
I mean, we had like felt all the other stuff, but it was that main room where we were like, ooh. I was like, I don't think we should be doing it. I'm about to pass out.
That's why different.
That's why I was rocking. I was like, don't pass out. Don't pass out.
Yeah.
Don't pass out.
I literally just watched that clip yesterday.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Our clip, yeah.
The way that felt leaving there though, I'm like, I want to go do more of that.
I know.
Because it felt so crazy. And like afterwards, whenever we were like talking about it, and I was like, I swear, I smelt that whenever she was like, did anyone smell cigar smoke? And everyone was like, no. And I was like, I'm not going to raise my hand. Like, I'm not put myself out there like that. And then I was like, totally smelt something.
Yeah.
But I feel like a lot of that they can make happen. But then it just so happened where I was standing in every spot that she'd be like, and that's where that happens. And I was always like,
you're like, yeah, cool. It's me again.
Cool.
In every room.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun stuff, man. Definitely want to do it again.
Yeah. The way it felt afterwards and to like be like, wow, that felt so real. Because I'm not a skeptic, but I'm not always so sure because there's not always stuff that happens.
Yeah.
But that was like such a validifying feeling.
Yeah, I agree.
But yep, that's all I've got
out there
for Trans-Allegheny.
This is a good one. Scary.
It was just a dark history and there's clearly a ton more ghosts there, but I just wanted to go off the ghost shows I watched and what they said so that I could actually be like, yeah, I watched this and that was terrifying. Like I didn't want to, there's other ghost stories of like a guy named Jack or other things like that, but I don't know as much. Or there's some that say like, if you're in the place, like in the Ward F where it's all the dark hallways, they're like, yeah, you see a bunch of red eyes and stuff like that. But those are just claims from other people, not the actual shows I've watched.
So yeah, you can't. Yeah.
I want to verify it, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
But that is all I got for Trans-Allegheny. If you want to go to our Discord, it's completely free. Go to Discord. There's no episodes or anything there, but you can talk to us, have recommendations, opinions, things like that. Feel free to email us at sistersofthestrangepodcast@gmail.com. We also are on Facebook. Like we have a Facebook group. We have a Facebook page. We have TikTok, Instagram, all the good things. So go find us, follow us, and we upload pictures of most of our episodes. So there's a lot to see and a lot of fun things. So make sure you are involved, and we will see you on Friday.
Okay. We'll see you on Friday.
Bye.
Bye.